Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Judge Jennifer Bruner, Justice for the People, Get Out the Vote rally. I'm so happy we were able to get together today, just a few short days before Election Day, to meet and celebrate our slate of phenomenal judicial candidates. My name is Bishop Lord, and I'll be guiding you through today's program. Starting things off, it's my honor to introduce someone who has been so successful in building such a strong team of judicial candidates, to the point that the party is poised to gain more seats on the Ohio Supreme Court for fairness and justice. David Pepper, chair of the Ohio Democratic Party. David?
Thank you so much, Bishop, and thanks to everyone who's joining us. I'm very excited about today's event. And this event, as I look at a lot of the folks here, this event is a perfect summary of why Jennifer Bruner herself is such a phenomenal candidate. Because we have so many awesome judicial candidates who are joining us today. And from the moment that Jennifer and I began talking about her run for the Supreme Court, which we all know is so important, she said to me, this is not just about me running. I want to work with every judge running in this state. I want a partner. I want a team. You know, there are some rules about endorsing, but Jennifer knows those rules better than anybody, and said, we're allowed to all work together in a lot of ways. And this event and this program is a perfect example of the creativity and passion that Jennifer put into not just running for her own right for this incredibly important seat, but also making sure that she and we are working together, whether it's getting Betty Sutton elected to the appellate seat up in Summit, Lorain, and what's your third county? Medina? Is it Medina County, Betty? Medina County. Jennifer Branch and Judge Bruner have the single best located billboard I've ever seen. You can't miss it when you go vote early. Whether it's Stacy Brooks running in Southern Ohio, Stacy knows I have a really big Stacy Brooks yard sign on my property in Adams County where my wife grew up. So Terry Jameson, you name it. Jennifer Bruner is doing that classic thing where you lift others as you rise, and that's what she's done throughout. So I'm just in awe of the way she's run this campaign, and that includes tonight. And so we're so excited to have so many great guests who are putting it all on the line. There is a huge opportunity here. And I quickly figured out as a chair that, yes, we got to win Supreme Court seats, but we got to win these judicial seats all up and down the ballot. I'm looking at right now, Ginger Bach. If we can win that race, we have a few years ago, never would you have thought we could have a majority Democrats on the Hamilton County Appellate District. When Ginger wins, we will have achieved that in just a couple years. All around the state, we have a huge opportunity to build this bench, to strengthen this bench, which not only means more justice at every single level of our court system where we need more justice, but also a bench of long-term candidates who can run in all sorts of races. So this is a really important moment to really make progress in winning these offices all up and down the ballot. That's why I've literally been going to early vote sites all around the state, and the volunteers are probably tired of me saying, are you getting the sample ballot out? Are you getting the sample ballot out? And if they don't, I start to show them how to do it, because so much of this is about voting through the ballot. But with that, I want to basically introduce the woman who's put this all together, Jennifer Bruner, who has just done an incredible job as a candidate herself. I think she has a wonderful opportunity to not just win, but to help shape this court for a long time to come. And with I know you all can't get that political, but I can get a little bit political. With what had just happened with the U.S. Supreme Court, state Supreme Courts are going to have a more important role than ever. Just like with gerrymandering, state Supreme Courts are now the protectors of fair districts, and will be when we change this court. These courts will also become the protectors of all the other rights that I worry this new Supreme Court will not protect. Voting rights, women's rights, reproductive rights, victims' rights, criminal justice reform. It's going to come on the state Supreme Courts to protect those rights. And I can't think of anyone better to lead that charge than someone who has spent her entire career in a variety of different offices that all kind of come together for this race, whether it was protecting democracy overseas, fighting for fair elections, being a common pleas court judge, appellate judge. All that comes together to make Jennifer Bruner about the perfect candidate to be on a Supreme Court at a moment where these Supreme Courts are going to need so much more than they've ever needed to protect rights that I'm afraid the U.S. Supreme Court won't protect. So with that, let me just introduce a great friend, a great candidate, someone who I look forward to having sworn in just a few months as the next Supreme Court Justice of Ohio, Judge Jennifer Bruner. Hello, Judge.
Hi, Chairman Pepper. Thank you very much, David. So glad to have all these great judges and judicial candidates with us this evening. I've been amazed at the work that the county parties have done in finding very high quality candidates, and I'm excited about all their races. Preview of Justice for the that we thought about in January of 2020, before we knew there was going to be a pandemic. And we had envisioned it happening a little bit differently, but we wanted to bring the views and the expressions about justice from people all over the state of Ohio. I love art, so I wanted to see some art. I wanted to see some sentiments. I wanted to see poems, essays, photography, and we've asked people to contribute, and they did do that. In fact, what you're going to see following this is a really great video that my super volunteer, Bishop Lord, who is our MC tonight, put together. And I think it'll all get us pretty psyched about what it means to be able to vote for our judges and what it means to be a candidate for judge in terms of what we can do in public service in justice for the people of Ohio. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take a look at this, and then you'll start to meet the lineup of the great, just some of the great judges from around the state of Ohio.
I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm afraid. It's not fair. I can still hear her voice. We had so many dreams and plans together, all the things we were going to do, our sweet 16s, our high school prom, maybe even college roommates. But she's gone, just like so many others. It's not right. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I want to start off introducing Judge John O'Donnell, who is also running for the Ohio Supreme Court. Is Judge O'Donnell on the line? And I want to just give a little background. Judge O'Donnell's been on the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court for, I think, about 18 years. He can clarify that for you. But I've really enjoyed running with him. You got to understand Judge O'Donnell sometimes. He has a very dry sense of humor, but that just shows how quick his wit is. He's very studied. He puts in the time to do the research. And I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know him and work with him in this campaign. And I hope very much we will be colleagues together on the Ohio Supreme Court, and together, along with the other justices there, really make the perspective of the Ohio Supreme Court wider, broader, and more inclusive. So Judge O'Donnell, would you like to say a couple words this evening?
I would. First of all, I do have to say thank you for that kind introduction. And of course, my sentiments about you are similar. Although I think it's been since last December or so since we're actually in the same room together, but I've seen you every week, sometimes many times per week. So the theme today is justice for the people. In my mind, justice for the people is forcing a prosecutor who is withholding evidence to turn it over to an accused so that person may have the fair trial promised by our Constitution. It's making a polluter who tries to push the cost of their industry onto the public clean up the air, water, and land that they befoul. Justice for the people is an insurance company compensating its policyholder for treating them in bad faith when a claim was made. It's powerful politicians, being prosecuted for money laundering and furtherance of corruption. Justice for the people is sex offenders and their enablers paying the true cost of their conduct. Justice for the people is preventing employers from forcing religious beliefs on their employees. It's making free riders cover their fair share of collective bargaining activity that benefits them. It's keeping the government from criminalizing one of the most difficult and intimate decisions a woman or a couple will ever make. Justice for the people is drawing legislative districts so that each citizen's vote is worth the same. And finally, justice for the people is an Ohio Supreme Court with two new faces who are unafraid to hold the powerful to account. If you elect Judge John P. O'Donnell to the Ohio Supreme Court on November 3rd, I will be a justice for the people. Thank you again, Judge Bruner, for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you so much, Judge O'Donnell. We are so fortunate to have a wide variety of judicial candidates from throughout the state of Ohio speaking today. As we progress this afternoon, we'll be working our way around Ohio, starting with our friends in Northeast Ohio. Here to kick that off is distinguished guest, Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan. Daniel Horrigan was sworn in as the 62nd mayor of Akron on January 1st, 2016, and was elected for a second term when he began in 2020. Since 1999, he has been a dedicated public servant to Summit County and the city of Akron. He previously served for 8 years as clerk of the Summit County Common Pleas Court and Akron City Council. Mayor Horrigan holds a BA in economics from the Kent State University and an additional degree in education from the University of Akron, having taught at St. Vincent St. Mary High School in the mid to late 1990s. His family legacy, deeply rooted in Akron's North Hill, and his experience as a public servant fuel Mayor Horrigan's unwavering commitment to move his hometown forward. Thank you so much. Mayor, you're up.
Well, listen, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sorry about the long bio. It could have been 2 sentences. It need to really concentrate on the candidates, but thank you. I do appreciate it. And I can't tell you, I've been a long time fan of Judge Bruner. I know we go back a long time and been supportive of her candidacy. I can't think of a better person that you know, on this call who's going to make a great, you know, Supreme Court justice in Ohio, along with Judge O'Donnell. So thank you all. I think it's going to be a wonderful year. I was handed this fairly long bio for Betty Sutton that I really could read off the top of my head because I've known Betty since college, although she's a lot younger than I am. her life has really been about public service and helping people and helping families. She has served in the U.S. Congress. She's served on Summit County Council. She actually wants to help people, which is a novel idea when it comes to public service, because quite frankly, I'm tired of having to count on the judiciary to do the right thing. And she is going to make an excellent judge. It's because of her experience and because she cares about people, and she has written the laws before. She understands it, she knows it, and I know she's going to be a great judge. So I'll turn it over to Betty Sutton. Thanks, Betty.
Thank you, Mayor Horrigan, and thank you, Judge Bruner. Thank you, Bishop, for having me today. I am so honored to be among this distinguished group of individuals. Truly, it is a pleasure at this time in this campaign to be rallying with great people like you on the Zoom meeting. So I am Betty Sutton, running for the 9th District Court of Appeals, and Judge Bruner, I think that this is such a brilliant idea to talk about justice for the people, because that truly is what brings us into these races, and that is what brings us here together today. As the mayor so generously indicated, you know, I've been a lawyer for almost 30 years, and I'm really proud of that legal work that I have done to represent people, you know, everyday folks, firefighters and teachers and nurses and those who work in the building and construction trades, fighting to make sure that their rights were protected under the law and that they were treated fairly. Because to me, that really is what justice is about. It's about knowing that it doesn't matter about one's race or religion or gender or sexual orientation, their wealth, their lack thereof, that all people deserve the protections of the law and to be treated with respect. And frankly, I know that the candidates who are on this rally, virtual though it may be, are all committed and dedicated to justice for folks. And so I'm so, again, honored to be among you. You know, my experience, as the mayor explained, does go a little bit beyond traditional legal work. I have seen the law from a variety of perspectives, from the legislative branch as well as from working in the administrative branch. But one thing underlies it all. It really is about making a difference for our communities, because justice belongs to everyone, not just to some people. Fairness and justice, it belongs to everyone. And if given the chance to serve on the 9th District Court of Appeals, you know, those decisions, they in all of our courts, they have tremendous real life, profound impacts in people's lives. And so I commend all of you who are here today, either as candidates or people who are just gathered with us to help us get over the finish line, because we can't do it without you. I commend you all for caring about justice, to get onto our feet and to do what it takes for these next 4 days to make sure that on November 3rd, we have a whole group of judges across this state who care and are driven by justice for the people. So thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. And I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks, Betty. Another, I think, an absolute all-star when it comes to running for the bench is Magistrate Connie Hightower. And we share another connection because she's a Kent State alum too. So we're well represented with the Flashes here as candidates, who has a long and distinguished career in private practice, running for Summit County Domestic Relations Court. For more than a decade, she's also served in private practice with Linda Harvey Williams. And she's also served as a council clerk. So she understands the process of how laws are written and how they're eventually going to get to her. But she cares about people. And that's really what I've seen about the best about public servants, is they care about people. And I can't tell you how important that is when it comes to the Summit County Relations and the Summit County Domestic Relations bench. She's a lifelong resident of Summit County, born in Akron, grew up in Stowe. I actually taught at Stowe for 10 years. She's a proud graduate of the University of Akron's Law School, Kent State University, and Stowe Monroe Falls High School. She knows our community well. She's committed to being a fair voice on the bench. It's an honor to introduce Magistrate Connie Hightower.
Wow, thank you, Mayor. I so appreciate your kind words. I'm humbled to be here amongst all of these incredibly accomplished, intelligent people here in the state of Ohio. Thank you, Judge Bruner, for the invite and for hosting this rally. It's incredible. And, to say that I'm excited for the next 4 days is an understatement. I think we're gonna go out here, we're gonna work hard, and hopefully we're gonna win big. First, thank you for everybody's support who's on here. And Betty, of course, she and I are here hustling in Summit County together. And so even though you'll be reviewing my decisions, I still appreciate that. Justice for the people, what can I say? I mean, that is what it is about. And it's been difficult sometimes on this journey to see that there are people who don't subscribe to justice for the people. One of the things that I can say is of benefit and that I've seen across the state is, just as Mayor Horrigan had just indicated, we have a heart, we have compassion. We are here for the residents in our counties and residents in the state of Ohio. We listen to them, we listen to their issues, and we need to make sure that we can give a fair and impartial judiciary that is devoid of politics. When you look at my race in particular, where a sitting judge is running for the opposite seat simply to block the Democrat and simply to get an appointment from the Republican governor, that's not justice for the people. That's not something that we're doing for the people. In fact, it mirrors almost some of what's happening in the national politics, where a Supreme Court justice was appointed just prior to the people being able to speak about who they wanted in office as a president. And so I can say I am proud to be on this rally. I am proud to be a part of a group of people who believe that the people's vote should matter. And I am proud that we have this wonderful wave that is happening in Summit County, that is happening across the state of Ohio, and that hopefully after November 3rd, so on November 4th, we'll be able to see everybody's faces on a follow-up call, and everybody's claiming victory. So I thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you, Mayor, for introducing me, and thank you, Judge Bruner, for this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magistrate Hightower. Angela Alexander is running for Stark County Probate Court Judge. She is a lifelong resident of Canton and a practicing attorney for 20 years in the areas of criminal defense, public defense, civil, family, and juvenile law. She was an assistant prosecuting attorney in both Stark and Summit counties, having tried numerous capital murder, and child rape trials, and has appeared before the Ohio Supreme Court. She focuses on helping families in crisis. Her community service, board memberships, and community awards are too numerous to mention. She has a passion for making government work better and plans to improve programs in the probate court involving public outreach and training for guardianship volunteers who assist wards of the court. As the first member of her family to graduate from college and a single mother, she earned her bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Akron and later earned her Juris Doctorate from the University of Akron School of Law. Angela is married to attorney John Alexander, and they reside in Plain Township and have 3 boys. Angela?
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. And thank you, Judge Bruner, for setting up this event. It's so important as we all get fatigued towards the end, just to hear from everyone and kind of feed off of the excitement of all of our judicial candidates. What I want to say about justice for the people is that that's the reason why we run. We want to make a difference in our judicial system in the state of Ohio. I started this campaign with the idea that I believe that there's a need for change. And right when I started it, things started coming out in the national media where people started realizing that we do need change within our justice system, that there are some things that are not working the way that they should for the people. So I decided that I was going to take on this incumbent judge that's in Stark County in probate court. And as part of my journey through this campaign, I've been trying to educate Stark County community on why it's important that we pay attention to our judicial races. Because too often, people go into the voting booth, even some of my own family, and they have no idea who the judges are. They pick a name that they may have heard or they may have seen on a sign with no real idea of the consequences that come when we vote for our judges. So for me, it was important to make sure that people understand probate court affects everything. It affects from your marriage license all the way through, wills, trusts, and estates. So of all judicial races, a probate court race is very important, because that's going to have a direct impact on you and your families, because we know that court affects us all. I've spent my entire career helping families in crisis, and I know how important it is to have empathy. And a good judicial temperament is one of, in my 20 years of practice, it's one of the most important things that I've seen, aside from a judge being able to follow the law, is a judge being empathetic. And that's something that I bring to this race, and I along with my experience in the courtroom. And I'm looking forward to celebrating with everyone when this is over.
Thank you so much, Angela. Moving on to Lisa Forbes, who is running for the 8th District Court of Appeals in Cleveland for an unexpired term against an appointee of former Governor John Kasich. She is an attorney and a partner at Vors, Sater, Seymour, and Pease, and a graduate of Cornell University and Case Western Reserve University School of Law. She won a 3-way Democratic primary in Cuyahoga County and is running a competitive race to return the seat to the Democratic Party after it was vacated with the election of Justice Melody Stewart to the Ohio Supreme Court. She has been a federal court clerk, holds wide private practice appellate experience, and has been active with professional organizations in the legal community and a wide variety of other community organizations. Lisa is highly recommended by legal organizations that rate and recommend judges. She and her husband of 28 years have 3 children. Lisa?
Hi, thanks. Yes, I'm Lisa Forbes, and I'm actually calling in from my auxiliary office here in my car, because I've been out speaking of justice for the people. I've also been greeting voters. Greeting voters here at the Board of Elections in Cuyahoga County, the only polling place, of course, available in Cuyahoga County, where people have been waiting since before 8 a.m. this morning for 2 hours to vote. It's been a 2-hour wait all day, 1.5 hours to 2 hours all day. That's how many people are coming out to vote today. It's not just today, it's been like this all week. And prior to that, people are so enthusiastic about making sure that their vote is counted and their voice is heard, that they are driving in their vote by mail ballots because they don't trust the post office. So that's actually, when I think about justice for the people, I think about one of the reasons that I ran. One of the reasons I ran is because I think it's deeply concerning that the public institutions and the courts in general are unfortunately facing a lack of public confidence and respect. One of the antidotes to that, I think, is to make sure that we have judges on the bench who have experience in the community and respect in the community, and also have experience in the courts, so that we can be sure that the decisions that come out of the courts are not only legally correct, but also just and fair. I have that wide-ranging experience, which thank you very much for that generous introduction. And so that's what I hope to bring to the courts. Now, I had that concern long before all of the crises that we've been facing since the pandemic, and all of the social justice problems that we've been facing since all through the spring and summer this year. So I think that it's more important now than ever that we all take to the bench. Hopefully we're all going to win, and that we take very seriously those words that Martin Luther King said so long ago from his letter from the Birmingham jail, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I hope to live that, and to make sure that I can do what I can to stamp out injustice anywhere. And I appreciate very much this opportunity, and I look forward to Tuesday at 7:31 when I am going to collapse. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Colleen Reale is a magistrate of the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas Domestic Relations Court. She is seeking to be a judge of that court. She has 14 years of prior experience in the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, as well as private practice experience. Colleen sees opportunities as a judge to help expand the assistance the domestic court gives its rapidly rising number of pro se litigants who represent themselves without a lawyer. She also advocates for financial literacy classes for those who more and more frequently are dividing their debts, not their assets, once their marriage ends. Cleveland.com described her as brimming with ideas and energy for how to make the court a better and safer place. Her endorsements are too many to list. Magistrate Reale, please.
Wow, thank you so much, Bishop. That was a wonderful introduction. And thank you to soon-to-be Supreme Court Justice Jennifer Bruner for hosting this wonderful event. As you so kindly introduced me, I am a magistrate in the court where I seek office. I've had the last 6 years to, I suppose, practice as a magistrate and think about what kind of judge I'd like to be if elected. And I was watching that wonderful video that you folks put together before we all started to speak, and I thought it was so just spot on and poignant when one of the artists said, well, we need public officials, or we need elected officials who have empathy. And to me, that's the single most just and the single most important quality in a judicial officer or judge. And it's something I work on and strive to have and be and embody every single day. I work on temperament and I embody empathy every single day in the family court, where the problems of our society are mirrored and are even amplified when so many of my folks are in crisis. So that's why I want to be a judge on this important court, because I see what we do well as a court, and I know that there's room for improvement. And I think a just judge, a just judicial officer is one who runs not just to be a judge, but runs because they know that there are important changes to make and they think they're capable of making those changes. And then finally, like I said, that we have empathy, follow the law, apply it fairly, apply it equally, and do it in the kindest possible way. And that's what makes good judges, and that's why I'm running. So thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to my, the lady on the ballot with me, who is Lisa Forbes. She has been down at the Board of Elections every single day, greeting these voters who are so excited about getting out to vote for the Democratic slate. And she's just been working so hard, and I really appreciate that. And so I think it's going to be a huge victory for all of us Democrats. And that's what I hope for, and that's what I pray for. And thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Magistrate. We are now moving down to Southeast Ohio, and Stacy Brooks, who is running for the 4th District Court of Appeals, a multi-county district in Southeast Ohio. She's a civil litigator with over 13 years of experience representing individuals, families, and businesses. She is certified by the Ohio Supreme Court as an advanced family conflict mediator, guardian ad litem, and parenting coordinator. Stacy is also the solicitor for the Village of Beaver and has represented the Village of Piketon and the City of Waverly in Mayor's Court. Stacy already serves many of the counties in the 4th District and has handled civil and criminal appeals to the 4th District Court of Appeals in the Ohio Supreme Court. Stacy began her legal career as a staff attorney with Southeastern Ohio Legal Services. Stacy's labor background includes serving as shop steward and local president for the National Organization for Legal Services Workers, Local 2320. Stacy has also been an educator teaching political science at Ohio University, Chillicothe branch, and teaching leadership and ecology through Hocking College in Columbus and Andros Island, Bahamas. Stacy received several awards during her time at Vermont Law School, including the Maximilian W. Kempner Award, which is given at commencement to the student who best exemplifies the highest standards of competency, integrity, respect, fair-mindedness, and public service. She also holds a master's degree. Originally from West Carrollton, Ohio, near Dayton, Stacy and her family live in historic downtown Chillicothe, Ohio. Her husband, Luke Feeney, is the mayor of Chillicothe. Stacy?
Thank you so much. I think you hit every topic there. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. This is an incredible opportunity to see everyone else running in these races and to draw attention to the judicial races, because judges in Ohio are elected, obviously, and if we don't vote, we don't get justice for the people. So, when I set out to run this campaign, and you said it's a multi-county race, it's actually 14 counties in rural Southeast Ohio, which is about a quarter of the state. So I knew I had a task ahead of me in capturing every vote that we can. And that's why this is so important. We've heard it said already that, you know, people don't often vote all the way down the ballot or don't know who to vote for in judicial races. So I made that a focus of my campaign as well. We've really gone after the undervote with a message of, you know, the courts should work for everybody, families, working people, everyday Ohioans. And where that comes from for me is my background with legal aid, which you mentioned. So that's where I got my start, and it's what brought me to Chillicothe. It's where I met Luke, my husband. And it really gave me the foundation to do everything I've done in my career, including all those volunteer opportunities, you know, teaching, and running for a position like judge of the Court of Appeals. Over the summer, Judge Bruner and I had a conversation over Zoom. We talked about her connections to Southeastern Ohio, which was great. And we also talked about our passion for public service. We agreed, I think, during that conversation very strongly that this type of a job is not about us. It really is about helping people. And, you know, that's what I did at Legal Aid. That's what I've done my whole career. So it's something that's in my background, but it's also deeply in my heart. And I still believe so much in those legal aid principles of access to justice, you know, using the courts as a tool to help people at a really basic level. That's what it is. Protecting people, trying to make change. So that's the message that we used in this campaign. And I really think it's connecting with the people of this part of the state. I'll just mention, because it is such a big area, we have other down ballot races, and it's so important for us when we're talking to people about, you know, judicial races, to let them know it's not just the Supreme Court, it's all the way down the ballot. So there's really great candidates like Zach Saunders running in Athens, Ohio, for probate juvenile court judge, and Shoshana Brooker, who's running in Marietta in Washington County. We just can't overlook those races. So I really hope that people are excited right now, that they're ready to talk to their friends and family and like push them into where the resources are to find out information about judges and judicial races, so that we capture all of those votes and that we're all successful. So thank you again, Judge Brunner, for this opportunity. I hope everyone stays safe. Hang in there. I think we got this, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We are now moving up to Northwest Ohio, and Judge Myron Duhart is running for the 6th District Court of Appeals based in Toledo. He grew up in the central city of Toledo. He enlisted in the U.S. Army and was later commissioned as lieutenant in the Army Judge Advocate General Corps. His Army service included duty assignments in Missouri, Virginia, and the Republic of Panama. While serving his country, he earned a BA in political science from Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, and went on to receive his JD from the University of Toledo College of Law. In 2018, Judge Duhart received a LLM in Judicial Studies from Duke University School of Law, and he attended the Harvard Kennedy School of Government in 2014. Also, Judge Duhart is an adjunct lecturer in law at the University of Toledo College of Law, where he teaches trial practice. Judge Duhart holds both civil and criminal private practice experience. In January 2011, he was appointed by former Governor Ted Strickland to replace Judge Charles Donaghy as one of 10 judges who serve on the Lucas County Court of Common Pleas bench, and has been elected to the position twice. He is one of 4 judges in the state to serve as a commercial docket judge, hearing cases dealing with business-related disputes. Judge Duhart's organizational and community service takes paragraphs to describe. He has received awards from the NAACP for community service and has been recognized by the African American Legacy Project of Northwest Ohio as an emerging leader, both in his profession and in the community. He has been married for 22 years, and he has a wife and 3 children. Judge Duhart. Give that just a few moments.
I think Judge Duhart may have had some difficulty getting on. And so if people are interested in hearing from Judge Duhart, if you go to my website, judgebrunner.com, I've got videos there, and we have an Achieving Justice series, which is like a podcast, and you can hear a great 15-minute conversation with him there.
All right, in that case, we are moving to Central Ohio, and Judge Terry Jamison, who is running for the 10th District Court of Appeals in Columbus. She is currently a judge of the Franklin County Domestic and Juvenile Court, having served there since 2013. Her background is extensive, having run her own successful insurance agency before attending law school. While in law school, she undertook various state government and court internships and the Franklin County Public Defender. She started her own firm, Jameson Law Offices, LPA, focusing primarily in criminal, juvenile, domestic, probate, and appellate criminal practice. She was a hearing officer for unemployment benefit appeals. On the bench, Judge Jameson has developed innovative strategies to empower Franklin County families. In 2014, she collaborated with Franklin County Child Support Enforcement to start the COMPASS program, which links unemployed child support obligors to community resources to become gainfully employed. Her program received national recognition as well as special recognition from the county and city. Judge Jameson.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Judge Bruner and to everyone for being here. Justice for the people includes just behavior or treatment for all people. And I have a concern for justice. I have a concern that everyone should be treated equally, that they should have, and that we should have genuine respect for all people. And I believe the people deserve to have a group of judges that mirrors the makeup of the population, which enhances the ability to provide a welcoming and inclusive environment for lawyers and the public. Justice for the people means a judiciary that has the public trust, that renders decisions that the public can consider legitimate and important for democratic legitimacy itself. And being on the campaign trail this third time, I have had such an ample opportunity to meet even more voters. And given our time of civil unrest, understand the impact and the import of having a just judiciary. I'm running for the 10th District Court of Appeals because I believe I bring that balance, I bring that sense of respect, and I bring a sense of hard work to the court. I'm looking forward to being able to serve in that capacity and to just keep giving the people a place where they can come to receive justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Jameson. Magistrate Lachelle Stroud is running for a newly created seat in the Domestic and Juvenile Division of the Franklin County Common Pleas Court. She is currently the lead juvenile magistrate in the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch. She earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from Kentucky State University and received her Juris Doctorate degree from the Ohio State University Lawrence College of Law. Lachelle gained a decade worth of experience in the courtroom litigating workers' compensation, immigration, and other civil matters. In 2011, Lachelle opened a solo practice handling civil and criminal cases in the court she aspires to serve before becoming a magistrate. Magistrate Stroud has quickly emerged as a leader in the court and serves on a pilot specialty docket to address human trafficking, chairs court committees, and represents her court at national conferences to advance juvenile justice. Magistrate Stroud.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, Judge Bruner, for the opportunity to be here with all of these esteemed candidates, as well as the voters who are here attending for this rally. I am Lachelle Stroud, and I am excited to be a candidate for the newly created seat in our court because I believe in justice for all, and that justice for the people really does mean justice for all and not just justice for some people. I've been on the bench the past 7 years, and that has allowed me an opportunity to see firsthand what it's like to preside over cases and the sensitive nature of the cases that come before us in domestic relations and juvenile court. I am honored to have an opportunity to run for this newly created seat because I believe that I know this court inside and out based on my experience over the past 20 years. I've been able to represent both parents and children as attorney and guardian ad litem, and now to serve them as magistrate. I have been working hard since last November in hopes that all of Franklin County will stand proud with Stroud, knowing that a vote for Stroud is a vote for a credible, committed, and compassionate candidate. I'm grateful to have received a lot of nonpartisan support as well in screening with unions and to be here in the position that I'm in today. I have been at the Early Vote Center here in Franklin County every day since it opened on October 6th. And it is so inspiring to see day after day, sometimes in the rain, sometimes when it's cold on days like today, but to see the voters lined up well before 8 o'clock when it opens around the building with sometimes 3 and 4 lines of a circle intertwined to wait to vote. And that is inspiring to me because it shows that people understand that their vote really does have power and they want to exercise their power and their right to vote so that we can hear from the people. So I would just encourage everyone who's watching to make sure that when you do come out to vote, that you vote all the way down the ballot, that you know who your judges are and that you remember to vote your judges so that we can attack this decrease that we see here in Franklin County of a 30% drop off when it comes to our judicial races. And also hope that you all stand proud with Stroud. To all of the judicial candidates, let's all finish strong so that we can celebrate on November 4th all of our victory. So thank you all for the opportunity, and I'm excited for all of our futures. Thank you again, Judge Bruner.
Thank you so much, Magistrate Stroud. Cheryl Munson is running for an unexpired term against an appointee of former Governor Kasich on the Franklin County Common Pleas Court. She has been an assistant Franklin County public defender for decades. She points out that the Franklin County bench will benefit from her experience with great numbers of judges having come from the prosecutor's office. She is a graduate of The Ohio State University and the Ohio State University Moritz College of Law. Cheryl has been active in professional organizations in the legal profession and successfully tried many different types of cases. Cheryl Munson grew up in Marion, Ohio before moving to Columbus over 30 years ago. She is the mother of 2 teenage daughters. Cheryl.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I appreciate that introduction. And also, I'm going to thank, obviously, Judge Bruner. I want to say, in addition to thanking Judge Bruner, that, you know, I practiced in front of Judge Bruner when she was on our Common Pleas Court. And, you know, when I think about a judge embodying the concept of justice for the people, Judge Bruner obviously comes to mind. She was a huge role model to me in terms of, you know, many kinds of judges, and we had good judges, but in terms of somebody willing to stand up and do the right thing no matter what, and then to create diverse ways of dealing with issues, innovative ways of dealing with issues. She is an incredible role model. And so I'm really grateful to be running the same year that she's running. As Bishop said, I've been a Franklin County public defender for 26 years, almost 22 now in Common Pleas Court where I'm running. There are no former public defenders on the bench for which I'm seeking a seat. And that is, you know, a void to me, I believe, a void in diversity of perspective. And so obviously, as a career public defender, I mean, I've dedicated my life to the concept of justice for all people, dedicated my life to justice or achieving justice and equality for people from underserved, unserved neighborhoods, marginalized populations. And so I just want to bring that commitment to equality to the bench. One thing we've been doing a lot this year is really trying to get our clients to understand, you know, that they're welcome at the polls and that a criminal record does not prohibit your voting in the state of Ohio, and to give them more of a voice in who they're putting up there so that hopefully they can reinvest some faith in the system, you know, and feel more involved and you know, hopefully increase their sense of justice as well, because that's so critical. I will echo what Lachelle said about the early vote. Now, I've been out to early vote and have seen what she has seen, but I've got to say, she is the Franklin County MVP of early vote, day in and day out, tirelessly, and she is an incredible face for us out there. And so I want to thank her for that. But it's a great year. People are coming out. They're committed to change and to being heard. And I hope that their commitment and our commitments will all be rewarded very soon here on November 4th. And we can increase justice for the people across the state of Ohio by taking our seats on the bench. So thank you all so much. Good luck to you all. And thank you so much, Judge Bruner.
Thank you, Cheryl. We are now moving down to Southwest Ohio, and Marshall Lockman is running for the 2nd District Court of Appeals based in Dayton. He has practiced law for more than 30 years in both Ohio and Illinois, and has operated his own law firm in the area since 2003. He has represented hundreds of people charged with all levels of crime, with the belief that everyone, regardless of wealth, has a constitutional right to the assistance of counsel when they are charged with a crime. He has handled over 100 appeals, mostly in the 2nd District Court of Appeals, as well as several cases in the Ohio Supreme Court. Marshall is originally from Miami Beach, Florida, and moved with his family to the Chicago area when he was 10 years old. He graduated from the University of Illinois with a degree in accounting in 1985 and from the Ohio State University College of Law in 1988. Marshall started practicing law in Illinois in 1988 and moved to Ohio in 1995 to work for LexisNexis, where he gained great strength in research and writing. In 2003, he decided to return to the day-to-day practice of law, pass the Ohio bar exam, and open a private practice that he operates to this day. Marshall?
Thank you, Bishop. And thank you to Judge Bruner for this great opportunity. You know, this has been an honor to run with such fine people throughout the state, to run with such fine people here in the Montgomery County and the surrounding community. I'm humbled by just the presence, being in the presence. As Bishop said in my background, that has been really the focus of my practice for the last 17 years since I opened my office here in Ohio. You know, I made a conscious decision that I was not only going to focus on criminal defense litigation, but that I was going to focus on representing indigent defendants, because I think it is so important that they have a voice. You know, I tell people when I talk to forums that how important it is that our system of justice only works if we have the best prosecutors, the best defense attorneys, and the best judges hearing cases. And that applies also to appellate court judges. And that is why I am running for this position. I believe that it is, as I stated, I think it was shown in the presentation that Judge Bruner showed at the beginning of today's rally. You know, my belief that judges too often prejudge a case based on political or personal views. And then, as we lawyers know, you can then really come up with a decision to match that without really considering the arguments that are presented, without considering the law that's applicable. And that is something, it's really what has driven me to do what I'm doing, because I think it is so important for our system of justice to work, to make sure there is justice for the people, that judges rule based on fairness, based on applicable law, not based on who the parties are, what the economic status, gender, race. And we've seen so much over the last few months how important that is. And it's really, the timing in that respect is so important in this election. We've seen the importance of the judiciary. And I also point out to people, as we know how important, you know, Judge Bruner and Judge O'Donnell are to get elected to the Ohio Supreme Court. Remember that of the 12 appellate courts in Ohio, that's the court of last resort for well over 90% of the cases heard in each of our courts. So who our judges are in those courts is so important. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's why I'm running. And again, Judge Bruner, thank you for this opportunity. And I just encourage everyone listening, wherever you are in the state, make sure you know who the judge candidates are. Make sure to tell your family and friends who the judge candidates are, who you're supporting, and make sure they get down ballot and vote for us on November 3rd. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marshall. Ginger Bach is running for the 1st District Court of Appeals in Cincinnati. Following graduation from Miami University, Ginger worked and volunteered for social justice organizations such as Planned Parenthood and a residential home for abused children. After 10 years of working at nonprofits, Ginger followed her lifelong dream of attending law school. She graduated summa cum laude from the University of Cincinnati College of Law. Ginger's first job after law school was working for Ohio's 1st District Court of Appeals as a staff attorney for Judge Mark P. Painter. which provided her an insider's view of how the Court of Appeals operated. In 2011, Ginger started her own law firm focusing on appellate advocacy. In 2018, Ginger was offered the opportunity to join Judge Thomas Bearden's courtroom team. She serves as Judge Bearden's staff attorney and enjoys the honor of researching and drafting court decisions. Ginger is an adjunct professor at the University of Cincinnati College of Law, where she teaches legal research and writing. She is married with 2 children and lives in Finneytown with her children attending public school there. Ginger?
Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you to Judge Brunner for having all of us here. I really appreciate it. So when I think about justice for the people, for far too long in Hamilton County, our bench has been dominated by the Republican prosecutor to judge pipeline. Over the years, it's been really rare to see a Democrat on the bench. It's also been fairly rare to see somebody who wasn't a prosecutor on the bench. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with prosecutors being judges. However, we need to have diversity on our benches. And I'm so proud to be running. Locally, we have 13 candidates running for judge. There are 8 women. There are 5 people of color. We look different. We have different religions. We have different professional backgrounds. We have different upbringings, and we have different ideas about what we want to do to help justice in Hamilton County and across the state. One thing, or some things that we all do agree on, all of us want to work to eliminate disparities in our justice system, to reduce barriers to justice, and to increase the transparency in our courts. My race, as Chairman Pepper said earlier, Hamilton County was a red county for many, many years, and it's been turning purple and then more blue. When I win, the court will be majority women for the first time in history, and it will also be a majority Democrats for the first time in history. And I'm feeling very good about my race. Either I or my husband have been at the Board of Elections every single day of early voting. It has been incredible. There are almost always long lines. It goes quickly, but still there are long lines. And most everybody has that blue Democratic slate card because people are actually asking, are the judicial candidates on there? I want to vote for the Democrats. I want to vote for the Democrats. So I'm feeling really good that people are voting all the way down the ballot. And I hope that you will encourage your friends, your family, your neighbors, everybody to take a look at who the Democrats are and vote all the way down the ballot. Thank you so much again, Judge Brunner, for having us here. And I will turn it back over.
Thank you so much, Ginger. Alison Hathaway is running for Hamilton County Common Pleas Court Judge. She's the director of the Juvenile Division of the Law Office of the Hamilton County Public Defender and is the point person for a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice creating a holistic defense team project. This project utilizes social workers and also implements a community-based advocacy model to assist in the defense of system-involved children. Alison graduated with honors from Chase College of Law at Northern Kentucky University. While in law school, Alison wrote and edited for the Northern Kentucky Law Review and was a recipient of the Cincinnati Bar Association Auxiliary Award, the AAA Robert Dennis Scholarship, and Chase Alumni Merit Scholarship. In addition to her work as trial attorney, Alison has worked on policy issues such as ending the practice of indiscriminate shackling of children in courtrooms and protecting victims of human trafficking in juvenile court. She has been recognized by the State of Ohio Public Defender for her commitment to advocating for children involved in the juvenile justice system in Hamilton County. Alison.
I apologize that I am in, the campaign garb today. Actually, I probably shouldn't apologize, but I have been at the Board of Elections since about 8:30 this morning. I am sitting in my car because I just did a honk and wave downtown Cincinnati and over the Rhine near Mount Auburn. So I've been ripping and running today, which is what I think we're expected to do at this point. We're so close. So yes, I've been a longtime public defender. I've worked as a public defender in Hamilton County since 2007. Primarily in the juvenile division, but I've also practiced in felony common pleas court as well as municipal court. And in my time as a public defender, as I'm sure many of you can imagine, I have seen a lot of injustice. I've seen how people are sometimes treated unfairly, merely because they don't have the resources that other people have, or sometimes it's because of the color of their skin. Even when it's not blatant, It may be implicit, and that is why I'm running. And as Ginger talked about, I'm part of that slate down here in Cincinnati of 13 judicial candidates who are about change and reform. We want to bring reform to our courts. We want to end the practice of holding people pretrial just because they can't afford to get out. We want bail reform. We want to work on reducing disparities in our court, especially the overrepresentation of Black and brown people in our system. We want to work to end mass incarceration and make sure people have equal treatment or equal opportunity for treatment when it's appropriate, instead of just some people having that opportunity to, you know, be in these diversion courts like drug court and some of these other courts that give people services. So we want to expand services for people across the board. And that's really what motivated me to run, especially since I'm part of this team and we can work together. We can come in, hopefully we can get the majority in the court so we can start working on a lot of these things and changing some of the systems that they have in place and have had in place for so many years, and doing the same thing and just upholding the status quo. We want to get rid of the status quo. And so I think Ginger's right. We've had record numbers at the Board of Elections at Hamilton County. They're really efficient. They've been doing a really good job moving the lines. I think today they're predicting over 5,000 people have showed up to early vote in person. So, you know, a lot of those people went in with that blue ticket in their hand. I was so excited. I met a ton of voters today. I think people are ready for change. So just encourage people to vote early, to vote, obviously, that blue ticket if they can. So thank you so much for having me. And, you know, I think we're going to carry this through. So thank you.
Thank you, Alison. That's fantastic to hear. Judge Thomas Bearden currently serves as a Hamilton County Common Pleas Court judge in Cincinnati. He has dedicated his legal career to the proposition that everyone deserves equal access to justice. He is running for re-election. Judge Bearden has been a public defender, a prosecutor, a civil law attorney, and a hearing officer during his nearly 20 years as an attorney. He has arbitrated and mediated cases for the Better Business Bureau and volunteered with the Volunteer Lawyers Project with the Legal Aid Society of Southwest Ohio. He has held significant nonprofit board memberships in his community. Tom was born and raised in Cincinnati and graduated from Ohio University and University of Cincinnati Law School. He lives in Pleasant Ridge with his wife, Alison, 2 children, and their bulldog, Thelma. Judge Bearden, please.
Mr. Lord, thank you. I appreciate that. I wanted to compliment you and Judge Bruner on how efficiently this has been run. We've been doing a lot of Zooms this year, and I could set my clock to the schedule that you've put out, so I appreciate that. The only thing that I would take offense with, it's the Ohio University, is how we do say that as a bobcat. So not to pick a fight with my friends in Columbus, but sometimes we don't get the respect we deserve as bobcats up in Athens, but we're trying hard. I want to echo what everyone else is saying so much about this year's campaign and bringing justice to people. I was a prosecutor, but I started out as a public defender down where Alison is right now in the juvenile division of Hamilton County. My first day after being sworn in Columbus, the next day I was trying cases. Due to the hard work of public defenders like Alison, that's not what happens anymore. We now have the training for our public defenders in Hamilton County so that they can represent their clients to the full extent of the law. And that's important. And that's why it's important that we do have diversity on the bench. Like Ginger said, we do have the most diverse slate that we've ever had here in Hamilton County. We have more women running than we do have men. We have different people of color, different people of different ethnicities, different religions, but also different backgrounds. We have one of the most preeminent civil rights attorney in the state, probably the country, on our ticket right now. We have divisions of public defenders. We have people who have clerked for appellate court judges and run their own practices. We have magistrates. And bringing all that experience to the bench helps our community in ways that you don't get when you have homogeneous backgrounds. For a long time in Hamilton County, it was just a prosecutor to judge pipeline. And while it is okay to have prosecutors on the bench, even those judges who are on there now realize that we need more diverse thought so we can do better as a court. We need to make sure that we are helping everyone the same. And if you come in from the same point of view, that doesn't happen. One of the great things, even though we have had COVID, we've been able to have times where we talk. And one of the things that's so important running this many judges or attorneys together, hopefully soon to be judges, is that we share ideas and we make each other better. So once again, thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you, Judge Bearden, and my Blocko lapel pin says otherwise. Thank you. Carrie Bloom is running for juvenile court judge in Hamilton County. This court is solely a juvenile docket for which she is well qualified and passionate about the work. From the very first time she went into a juvenile detention facility, Carrie knew that she found her place in the world and that someday she would run for juvenile court judge. When Carrie was a law student, she worked at the Children's Law Center, taking cases on behalf of incarcerated youth for fair treatment in the Department of Youth Services, as well as with parents and educators in an effort to end the school to prison pipeline. Carrie has spent her career as a public servant, first working for the United States Air Force, where she learned how to negotiate budgets and contracts, then for the Hamilton County Public Defender and Ohio Public Defender offices. She values hard work and the opportunity to encourage change and progress. She currently lives in Mount Adams neighborhood of Cincinnati with her fiance, Nick, and their dog, Winston. Carrie Bloom.
Thank you very, very much for that very generous introduction. And thanks to everyone else who's on the call and to the voters who have hung with us this long. We appreciate everyone that's here to learn more about the judicial candidates, because we are in a pandemic and we haven't been able to get out to talk to each of you. Like my slate mates, my judicial family who have gone before me, especially those in Hamilton County, I am so excited about the number of people who have voted at the Board of Elections, early voted this year. I've been down there, like a few others have said, almost every day, almost every minute of almost every day. And today I really do think in Hamilton County will be above 5,000 voters. It's amazing. We ran out of blue tickets today, which is what we call our Democratic slate card, which is a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling. So like you heard, I've spent my career as a public defender, which hasn't always been the most popular job. Being a Democrat in Hamilton County has not always been the most popular thing, but this year it is cool. And so it's awesome to see down there. Thank you to everyone who's running to make sure that everyone has access to justice. Thank you to Judge O'Donnell and Judge Bruner for running to make sure that we have a safe and a fair Ohio and fair districts. And thank you to everyone who's interested in making our state great. It is going to be a huge success. I know in Hamilton County, we are going to have a big, huge blue wave, and we could not do it without each and every one of you. Our names might be on the ballot, but this truly is a teamwork, statewide teamwork election. And we are so, so happy to be a part of that team. I'm running for juvenile court judge because I believe and I know that kids deserve a childhood. And here in Hamilton County, that's not what they get. So come November 4th, that's what they'll be getting when they come into my courtroom. And thanks for helping me get there. See you guys later.
Thanks so much for what you're doing, Carrie. I see we have Jennifer Branch has joined us. She is running for the Hamilton County Common Pleas Court. She's been a partner with Alphonse Gerdstein since 2005. Their firm, Gerdstein and Branch, concentrates its practice in civil rights litigation. Jennifer practices in the areas of race, sex, disability, sexual orientation, and gender identity discrimination, employment discrimination, police misconduct, prisoner civil rights, and reproductive rights. In 2015, Gerdstein and Branch won the landmark case Obergefell versus Hodges, which held the Constitution requires states to license and recognize marriages between same-sex couples. Jennifer joined the firm as an associate in 1997 and began her legal career in 1987 at the Legal Aid Society of Cincinnati. Jennifer graduated from New York University in 1984 with honors in politics and from Case Western Reserve University School of Law, cum laude, in 1987. Jennifer's litigation experience includes bench trials, jury trials, and administrative hearings in state and federal court, as well as arguing appeals in the Ohio Court of Appeals, Ohio Supreme Court, and 6 U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Jennifer Branch.
Thank you for the introduction. I should have added the names of my cats because they've all made appearances through this campaign, walking across my camera. So thank you for having this rally. I was really struck by the fact that you asked us, Judge Bruner, to say what we think justice means. And before I even decided to run, to leave my legal practice, civil rights practice that I've been doing for over 20 years and litigating for 33 years for people here in Hamilton County, I really thought about that. What does justice mean? And I look back on my clients who I felt weren't given justice in my career. And what I think it all comes down to is the loser in the courtroom needs to walk out and feel like justice was done, even though they lost their case. The lawyer lost, the client lost, the friends, the witnesses, the victims, whoever is the loser needs to feel that they still had justice, which means, to me, you get a fair judge who is open-minded. You get an opportunity to put your case on as a lawyer and to put your evidence in and to make your arguments. And if that happens and everybody feels that they're being treated equally, respectfully, with dignity, and listened to, I think that people will, there'll be some restoration in the community of what justice is. We have all been campaigning together. It's great to see all of our most of our slate mates here today. Some were participating, some were in the actual presentation. But this is why I'm running. I chose this year because there are 13 of us. We could change the entire Hamilton County Common Pleas Court when we all win, because then we would have a majority and we could do so much, like taking care of making sure we've got our data for sentencing to see if there are racial disparities, because we know there are racial disparities and you can't fix them without the data. We can reform bail in our county and not lock up people because they are poor. And we can increase our jury pool and make sure that it's a good representation of the people in our county. We're all in agreement on some, look at that, she's right on time. So sorry, that's my cat Xena. It's dinner time for her. But we've all been running together and having identical, well, not identical, but similar thoughts, and our opponents don't. And our opponents have been on the bench for, some of them for decades. And the Supreme Court in 1999 said that there are racial disparities throughout Ohio courts, and we need to fix them, and it's time to do that here in Hamilton County. So for those of you who are voters and joined us and stayed this long to listen, please vote, get everybody you know to vote, because we can't restore justice in Hamilton County without you and without all the voters. So thank you, Judge Bruner, for having me as part of your rally today. And Xena.
I want to thank everyone for attending today. I want to thank these great judicial candidates from around the state. I'm just so happy for those of you who are on the call that you're able to see what Judge O'Donnell and I see when we've campaigned the state before the pandemic, after the pandemic, and we're very excited for this election. And I'm excited to give you the opportunity to hear from some of these folks. There's one thing we want to do here at the end, besides encourage you to vote and encourage those people in your sphere to be able to vote as well. Just remember one thing, you can speak with your vote, and your loudest voice is your vote. So for those of you who may have joined a little bit later, we're going to play that video one last time and Bishop will close out. Thank you all. God bless you. Stay safe and vote.
I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm afraid. It's not fair. I can still hear her voice. We had so many dreams and plans together, all the things we were going to do, our sweet 16s, our high school prom, maybe even college roommates. But she's gone, just like so many others. It's not right. It didn't have to be like this.
Once again, thank you to all of our special guests, all of our amazing candidates, and especially each of you that signed on today. Please make sure you tell everyone you know to vote all the way down the ballot. Stay safe and healthy, and as always, go Bucks. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.